Hello to all you string pickers out there. Welcome back to your channel, the String Pickers channel. Today, part 3 of the Ktaxon Build. We are going to do ClearCoat today, and we're going to get that laid down on. Probably do 2 coats. You might just see one. The first one's going to be really light, and then we're just going to hang it, and then we're going to go back and do another layer on top of that, and then we're going to wet sand. However, I will tell you, you will see some differences in this video because it's going to take time, and we've got like a lot of snow moving in and everything. So you're probably going to be seeing this about 4 or 5 days after this point. So, but yeah, we're going to just jump right into it. We're going to go out on the porch. We're going to just spray this thing down, get it hung up, let it dry, and then come back for some wet sanding, more than likely later this evening. So yeah, just buckle up. Let's go for a ride. Okay guys, here we are, back again. Today is Tuesday. I'm going ahead, since we've got all of this cured and it's not tacky to the touch at all. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? This is my first time trying this kind of effect, by the way. But it turned out just excellent. It looks like you could just wipe that water right off of there. But I think it's going to turn out really, really good. We've got, make sure nothing is on the guitar. We're going to do some ClearCoat. And everything looks good. What I think is on there is not. So we're going to do the guitar and the neck. I do not have any semi-gloss or satin in the ClearCoat that I'm using. This is a ClearCoat, the 2X gloss enamel. We're going to put a few layers of this on, sand between the layers. And what I'm planning on doing on the neck is I plan on doing all of this in a gloss, but wet sanding it down to a smooth satin, because I really don't need this part to shine. You know, just the top right here. And I've taped off the fretboard so we can get just the sides and not the top. So we're going to seal this thing up, see how it turns out, let it cure, and then, which is probably going to take a while, a lot longer than the paint. No, I am not a proctologist. I just have these around for just cases like this. So don't be scared. But I do suggest, if you're going to work with any kind of paint, any kind of anything like this that's got any chemicals in it, I do recommend wearing gloves and long sleeves, even though yesterday I didn't have long sleeves on, but I had the wind carrying the paint away from me, so I didn't wind up with any on my skin. Today it's a little more still outside, but all the same, you do want to protect yourself. This ClearCoat stuff is just a tad bit more harmful than the paint that we were using. So what I want to do is we're going to ClearCoat this, and then I'm going to take it up and I'm going to set it somewhere to where it will dry. Like I said, I do have a space in my home dedicated for just such things. So we are going to let this cure for a while, maybe back tomorrow. I don't know. We're supposed to get like 5-6 inches of snow or something, which I'm already over this winter.
It gets a lot more rougher up here on this mountain than it does down in the valleys around here. So
Okay, it's been quite a few hours later. We are going to tackle this monster. First, let me explain the getup. I did do 2 coats on the finish. I don't know if you can see, it's got some shine to it, but we want it to be as smooth as possible, and it has some imperfections here and there. One major one, it looks like right there on that arm, but we're going to fix that. That is a very easy fix. Basically, what I'll do with that is I'm going to get a piece of paper, just a regular size piece of paper, and I'm going to cut out a hole about that size and just hold over it, and then stand back and give it one quick little spritz of the white and a quick little spritz of the navy blue, and then you won't ever even tell that that was ever there. But what about that? I mean, look at that. I'm kind of proud of that finish. I think that looks really cool. I don't know if it's going to be good enough for you to see it or not. Turned out really good. The neck was amazing. It looks great. Now it has that orange peel kind of texture to it because we've not wet sanded or anything. But we are going to do 1 or 2 more coats on it, wet sand it again, and then we're going to look into polishing. But yeah, man, the neck, the headstock turned out great. Got just enough. I may not even do the back of this neck because that is just the right feel. It's not slick. It's got 2 coats on there, and it's really good. So I'm really proud of that one. And you know, and after all, guys, let's look at this for what it is. But first, let's go ahead. Pre-cut this, soak this in lukewarm water for about 15 minutes. This is your wet, dry sandpaper. And I got tacks out. I'm sure you're wondering why that is. Well, when you get to be my age, and I have a lot of problems with my hands, I'm not sure if many of you watching have followed the channel, but I've had problems with neuropathy in my extremities. I am a type 2 diabetic, and years of not managing that has led to some health issues. One of them being neuropathy, and quite a few others that are more severe than that, but that's a story for another time. If you would like to hear that story, just feel free to leave it in the comments. I can do story time while working on one of these guitars or something like that, but I don't want to bore you with details, so we're just going to keep it light and about the project at hand. So what I'm doing here is I have pre-cut this wet dry 1000 grit sandpaper to fit this sanding block. I would use like staples for this, but tacks work just fine. My staple gun's outside, not even going to worry about that. Tacks work just as well, so I just wrap it around the block, put a few tacks in it, and then you got a good wet dry sanding going on. So what is important to remember is that you want to apply light, steady pressure. We are going to sand the back of this somewhat so it doesn't have an unfinished feel. Light, steady.
Blah, blah, blah. Hey, did I mention how much I hate sanding? Did I mention that I would rather be hit in the head with a baseball bat that had nails drove into the end of it rather than sanding? Well, that's kind of where I'm at. I have said that I've been an artist for many years, about as long as I've been a guitarist. However, as an artist, the two main things that I cannot stand is painting and finishing a clear coat. This was my first clear coat job on a guitar. I do not like to paint solid walls. I believe painting a wall one solid color is just a waste of time when you can put a picture on it. The only reason why I wanted to do this guitar myself is because of the paint scheme. You're going to see me here sanding and going through all the phases and everything. And yeah, it turned out great. I mean, absolutely great. I was really proud of the paint job on this guitar. However, spoiler alert, the clear coat process didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Mainly because the second coat of clear coat, the reason for the bad spot on the horn was because when I clear coated, it was really cold outside, and that's why it messed up. So yeah, I'm just saving you the trouble of me gabbing about all this mess. Everybody knows how to paint and everything. I just don't recommend it. Get another hobby. And here we go again. We're sanding the body now. By the way, the whole damage on the horn thing was a complete nightmare. I ended up having to paint a border around the bevels. I'll show you where that's at right here. So yeah, it's on that horn. And you cannot see it because it's not that close up. But what happened is when you do clear coat, you do not want it to be cold enough, because clear coat as it dries will contract. And what it did was pull an oval shape section of that paint to where it was a clear blemish. I tried to sand it out, it didn't work. So yeah, what I ended up having to do was do this color on the back, this purple on the back. I had to do that around the bevels of the front, which turned out really nice. Now you can't even tell that there was ever a blemish there. So yeah, when I say you want to get into painting, you want to get into clear coating an instrument, I hope that you have more patience than I do, because I cannot stand it. I don't like it, never have, never will. Now I'll sit down with a canvas and paints and paint you a picture and then spray a sealer over it, be done, and go on my way. This stuff right here is worse to me than anything that I have ever done. I think this guitar was a complete fail because of the paint job and how it turned out. You see me rubbing the heel right there. That's because more of that contraction happened right there, and I had to sand that down and recoat it. So yeah, at the end of the day, I am not a professional painter. I do not ever aspire to be. Uh, my advice to you is, if you do something like this, please do your research and do it on just a regular piece of wood before you start any kind of project like this, because if you're not experienced at this like I am, then you will regret it in the end. I just learned to live with it. That's just me.
Well, folks, that's the end of part 3 of the Ktaxon Build. Currently editing and realized I didn't shoot an outro for that. But it did some voiceovers to kind of throw out my hatred toward this project in painting and clear coating. The painting wasn't all that bad, but the clear coating is just a nightmare. So anyway, I did want to come in and close out the video by saying that if you look behind me, I have the neck on it. I've done a couple other things. That video is coming up in part 4. You will see that pop up in just a few days, and everything turned out pretty good. I was so disgusted over the little blemish on the horn that I couldn't get it looking right again, and I ended up just going around the bevel with paint. You'll see that in the next video. Turned out really cool. I like it. You can't even tell there was ever anything wrong there. It just so happened that was in the perfect spot. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching this series with me. I didn't want to make you suffer through all of the sanding and all of that stuff. I did want to just speed that up, get you through that process, and you didn't want to hear me growl about it, even though you did a little bit in the voiceover. At that point, I just stopped recording and I was done with it. So basically, you're not going to see in the next video, I did apply 2 more coats of clear coat to it after I'd done the border. I did hit it with McGuire's guitar, or not guitar, but polish, and buffed it, just trying to put lipstick on that pig. And I didn't record none of that because at that point I was so frustrated with this whole thing. It was just unbelievable. Finally, I've just learned to deal with it. So there you go. That's me dealing with it. And this is, I have already shot video part number 4, so you guys will see that coming up in a few days. Part 4 is actually pretty cool. Done some shielding, put a few parts on, stuff like that, kind of give you an idea of the process. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Drop a like, a comment, do all that clickety-click stuff, and see yourself out because the door is closing.